if you've clicked on this video, you're either one of three people. 1, you already play Motortown. 2, you have no idea what Motortown is. And 3, you're lost. But regardless of who you might be, I'm here to bore you to death by talking about a game that I think is one of the best card games of all time. Enjoy. Alright, so I've got a list of stuff that I want to go over. So let's start with a very simple one, but pretty important. Diversity. In Motortown, there are so many different things you can do. You can become a taxi driver and drive through towns at 100 miles an hour, praying you don't crash. You can even become a food delivery driver and make the salary of a brain surgeon in literally 2 hours. You can also do more boring jobs like trucking, where you you truck. Not much more to it, really. But whilst all this is great for making sure, you don't get bored, you have plenty of things to do, it also helps with creating a world. What I mean by this is you could literally just be driving down the road and you'll see a player in a tow truck helping another player that's crashed into a tree. Or maybe you'll see a player that's restocking a pizza place for another player to go and deliver food. Which brings me on to my next topic, the community. Motortown's community is interesting, in a good way. When I first started playing Motortown, there were only a few servers with 2 to 3 people in them, and now most of the player base is all on one server called TWL. And while that might sound like a bad thing at first, it's really not. There's so many people on there and you can meet so many people. For example, I've met teachers, I've met people with kids, and I've met people the same age as me, I've met people younger than me. It's crazy how big this community is. The Motortown community is also really good just for having fun. I mean, if you look back in some of my other videos, you can see some of the events that are hosted on TWL. Which, by the way, you should go watch. I mean, it's completely up to you, but I mean, like, if you want to, I mean, just right. It's not to say it doesn't have the occasional bad person, but realistically, what game doesn't? However, one very clear downfall to all of this is Motortown's player count. This game is pretty dead, at least in multiplayer. But realistically, you're not really going to notice that there's not that many players, because as I said before, most of the players are all on one server, and it's usually got anywhere between 20 to 40 people on it at one time. Now that's really all I have to say about the community, so let's move on to something this game definitely deserves praise for, and that is... how do you say his name?
Kawang.
Mr. Hwang. I definitely didn't say his name right. Mr. Hwang is like one of the best devs I've ever seen in a game. He responds to a lot of community feedback as well as fixing bugs literally minutes after they were reported. Except for this chat scrolling glitch that we've had for about 2 months now. Please Hwang, please fix it, it's so annoying. While Hwang is the lead developer on Motortown, there are obviously other people that are helping him, such as Betty, congratulations by the way, and a full team of modelers working very hard to make amazing models for the game. But alright, let's now change our focus from the positives to the negatives to give this video some more dramatic effect or whatever. First of all, this game is horribly optimized, but you can't really blame that on the devs considering it's made in Unreal Engine and we all know what Unreal Engine's like. Another major thing is the physics system, which isn't terrible, but it definitely could be a lot better. Although I wouldn't really argue that's a bad thing, because even though sometimes it is a little annoying, most of the time it's just kind of funny. The last real complaint I have about the game is its Steam page. It is horribly outdated, and weirdly enough there was an event to get screenshots and make a new trailer for the game, but it was never done. Just an example of how outdated this is what the main town looked like, and this is what it looks like now. Despite all those negatives, I would still give Motortown a 10 out of 10. Greatest game of the year, give it a Grammy, give it an Oscar, give it whatever this thing is. That's why I think Motortown is the best car game you can get, so hope you enjoyed.